Filipino wave going around the stadium, and the players will just settle themselves down and get themselves.
I love the energy though here. Honestly,
the
game's not going on, nothing's happening. We're just like chatting, and you see the waves going on all around the crowd. They're feeling this grand final.
I think the first couple of times it happened, Charlie was kind of like, "Wow, I just said something and got a roar for it. Wow, I didn't think that was that good."
No, come on. Even I know they don't cheer for me.
Okay, one more. Which hero would be your MVP of this tournament so far?
I would give it to Ricky, I think. Lifestealer was expected.
This series?
Well, no, he's
this tournament.
I feel like Lifestealer was the expected MVP walking into it, other than maybe Beastmaster. Ricky came out of semi-nowhere.
Hold on, you think
this is some like hipster pick out of Purge?
All right, yeah, you could. I would explain it that way. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
but
it's a little off the wall.
Necessarily expected. We were all talking about Beastmaster when we came.
We were, but Lifestealer was on the up and up. I feel like leading into the tournament. I'm over it. I'm over the Lifestealer. I feel like the hero now is Ricky. And the hero that will be the defining hero will be decided in this set, guaranteed.
I'll say Disruptor.
Okay.
Man, you stole mine.
I think Disruptor.
I saw yours. I have to. I'm sorry.
We said the same thing. 2 AoE silences.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a really good point, though. Like, taking even look at the land finals and stuff, you look at Ricky and Disruptor, both these heroes have a 70 or higher % win rate, and they've been picked multiple instances. And I have to commend, honestly, DC, because they are the ones who really brought it out first, and they're the ones who really brought up the Max Cloud build, which we've been seeing every single game when people pick Ricky now.
Very interesting. Okay, we're into draft number 2 for game 2.
This is the right approach by OG. I think that they should just keep banning the Lifestealer in all the drafts.
You think? Yeah? Just keep it out of the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. OG have got rid of the Lifestealer. The Invoker's gone.
Yeah. No surprise, Liquid.
Yeah.
Taking the Slardar.
Plenty of respect for that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to note that Liquid had first pick this time around, and I do believe that they had choice this round, and they did take first pick, and OG responded by taking Dire.
Yeah.
I think in previous series you've actually seen OG favor Radiant.
We got an. Oh, Mike. Mike's here in spirit, guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only way he's going to come here.
Oh, come on, dude. Leave him alone. We love Mike. Anyway, looking back at the draft, though, the Slardar pick, no surprise. OG, of course, going to take up the Earth Spirit. And we were talking about it. Flies Phoenix, Sunray.
They're good. With that said, though, does that leave any openings for Liquid? The 2 supports are there. Is it too greedy? Are there hero core counters that are good against both of those heroes?
Maybe they pick Ricky again. He's quite good versus Earth Spirit with the silences. He can get in position on top of the Phoenix, silence him, cancel the Sunray, not let him use his egg. I don't know if they want to do the exact same thing 2 games in a row, but Ricky, Disruptor, we're talking about them constantly. Hide stuff. And, the obvious one that we're not even noticing.
Yeah, that one's better.
All right, well.
I was going to ask you about the Lycan as well when we were talking about MVPs at the tournament, because this is another hero that's been on the up.
We're silly for not saying that, honestly.
Yeah.
Very silly.
It's very good here. You can position wherever you want to. You can go hit the egg no matter where it is, unless it's on a cliff.
And I think something like super underrated about Lycan is the fact that you can scout so heavily with wolves.
Yes.
It's provides so much vision all over the map. And the players that have been playing it have been making such good use of those wolves as well, with No Tail picking it up and Matama Man.
Really fast bans coming out here.
Enchant Elk,
Sven
Tide.
Yeah. So I understand. I actually perfectly understand both the ones from Liquid. The Sven, of course, counteracting the Slardar a bit with the Warcry. He's also very burst heavy. We've been talking about how he can just pop his BKB and he can cleave down Lycan. And if the Book and the Wolves are on top of him, they just basically get bursted instantly. The Tidehunter as well just puts a lot of pressure on the Lycan in the lane. You can't really just straight up kill him unless you have your dedicated supports there with you.
Are there times, Fogged, when you're sitting with a team like this, where they ban something and you go, why have they banned that? Are they cooking something up? Are they doing something different? Or is it when they pick something that you get a bit confused?
Sometimes it's during the bans, just because I guess they get influence from previous games they see. Like we were talking about the last game, we brought up the point where they did ban the Weaver, and because they definitely were like, oh man, it's very good versus Lifestealer. Mind Control just had a beast performance on it, and then they overlooked the Ursa, and it ended up kind of biting them in the butt.
They've left both out this time, of course, but it's a slightly different draft. We've got the Void out now.
And Liquid goes back to the Disruptor.
Yeah.
I think, you're talking about why did they ban that instead of this. I'm surprised that they didn't ban the Disruptor. That hero has been frightening in the right hands.
And like I said last game as well, especially versus like Disruptor versus Earth Spirit can be very good. He can just, if the Earth Spirit's trying to roll out, of course you can just glimpse him back in. If he rolls in, you can obviously just drop your ulti off, stop his initiation in any means. And like we've been pointing out throughout the panel the past couple days, Phoenix, you can disable the Sunray quite easily, as well as just silences in general are extremely good versus that hero.
It's also great against the Void. Void time walks away,
Yep.
glimpse him back. It's like decent at zoning him out as well.
I'm not sold on the Void pick personally. I feel like I've seen it fail a lot against Necro 3 heroes, either Beastmaster or Lycan. Once he gets mana drained, he's a terrible hero. And they have good solutions against that. They have Stun on Slar, mobility on him, Disruptor can bring him back or lock him down in silence to get the mana drain off. I'm not sold on the Void. It is very good with Phoenix, though.
It's very good at locking down the Lycan as well, because obviously, you know, Lycan can go full speed mode and just run around like crazy. And he's quite good versus Slardar as well. If you get the time dilation on him, he can't just keep doing that thing that we've been talking about, like the weaving in and out of fights, getting multiple crushes, multiple amplify damage. So I can understand why they picked it, and it's a comfort hero for them. They've been picking it a lot when they have the Phoenix, and they love putting it on Mood. And this also kind of leaves it a bit open. They can run it in the short lane, but it's not really their most favorite.
I really worry that when we've seen Faceless Voids fail, it's because they don't get the levels or the start that they need in the offlane. So I feel like there's a lot of pressure right now on Moon to get his levels and get his items.
And that's hard versus Disruptor. Team Liquid's draft is a lot more early game focused with the exception of Slar Blink. And I like that they picked Jug because it offsets that very, very teamfight reliant hero. Like Jug can be solo, get solo kills. He can TP support other lanes that are going to be weak early, like Faceless Void, and possibly get double and triple kills.
Yep. Liquid
They
going
come back
for
to the DK.
comfort,
great
very
pick.
comfort heroes here. Really liking the way that Liquid's draft looks right now. And we have been kind of talking, I know Black touched upon it on the panel earlier, how Juggernaut maybe is sometimes falling out. He's a very specific pick that you need the right situations for it. And I feel like Slardar really hurts him. Amplified damage really makes Juggernaut look super squishy.
Can bash him as well. And now with Dragonite pick, they're pretty survivable
Wow.
to Chronosphere.
Okay, so we got a Ricky ban.
Super fast bans.
Yeah.
And the Magnus makes
And
sense
the Magnus ban.
because they were playing Magnus with Void and Juggernaut.
So Liquid have almost exactly the same draft, bar one.
Jungle Beastmaster.
Their draft is so good. Two Necro 3 heroes can drain mana of Juggernaut faces Void.
Yep.
They've got attack speed. Or I was thinking about this earlier, but then I thought they've got Slider, so they're not going to pick Beastmaster. But clearly they're going to do 4-position Beastmaster on Kuro, most likely, and then their draft looks really good to
It's
me.
also so fast as well, not team fight reliant at all. Whereas
Exactly.
OG, you look at they rely so much on the Chronosphere, and now the Darkseer wall to set up a lot of their fights.
I really like Liquid's approach to when they're on the Radiant. They always pick a way to be able to get into that Roshan pit and steal it from the dire sides. They're one of the few teams that when they're on Radiant, they have that massive potential to just go in there and take it when it's usually the opposite way around.
Okay, final thoughts, Charlie?
Man, I really like Liquid's draft here. It has so much setup and initiation, and it's, like I said earlier, very fast. You can just, you hit your levels and just go in.
Yeah, I agree. I really like Liquid's draft. It just seems like they have a little bit of an edge coming out in the laning phase as well versus OG. The Darkseer is going to be able to pressure a bit on the Lycan, but Disruptor is quite great versus that.
Yeah, I agree. I like Liquid's draft. The one gem that OG has going for them, Earth Spirit, Darkseer. They've got to crush the safe lane.
They've got to crush
If
the
they
safe
don't
lane.
do that, they're going to get behind in fights.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll get more thoughts, of course, from our expert panel at the end of Game 2. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Manila Major Grand Final, Game number 2. Let's head back to the commentators. LD and Gods.
Thank you very much, Paul. Gods, analysts, favoring Liquid again in Game 2 are you?
Up until the last pick, Darkseer, definitely, I was like, how did Liquid get all these heroes in their draft? The Darkseer, though, very good at upsetting the Liquid lanes, because when you're running that greedy jungle Beastmaster, you have to do something to punish it.
All right, well, with that, the punishment might be getting out, guys. Game 2 is underway.
OG versus Team Liquid.
And here we are. Already, teams have moved out to the lanes. You can see some early wards did get dropped. Don't think either of these were scouted. And actually, a total of 3 early wards as Miracle's dancing on top of one. So Liquid, they don't have the Bounty Hunter this game. They don't have the Riki, rather, that Invis here. They can run around and drop incredibly deep wards, but they still have some good vision to start this one off.
Yeah, and Liquid, they see that Earth Spirit Phoenix and know that this support your Earth Spirit roams around, pressures the lanes a bit, but it's not the most like proactive duo, with Phoenix kind of having to sit and doesn't rotate all that well. So as a result, they get this Beastmaster, but Iron Shell Earth Spirit, very disruptive, very difficult for Lycan to lane against when he's not going to get any help from one of his supports. Only the Disruptor can try and help this lane out.
So is that the lane you want to see Crit focusing on if you're OG? Is it really just the Lycan you look to shut down?
I think you swing from mid and bottom. You want to be spending a lot of time. If you're in the Radiant jungle, you can do 3 things. You can pressure the Beastmaster jungle, which he's often on low HP for. You can rotate mid and go on Fata with a Juggernaut who has quite a decent amount of kill potential, and you can partner up with the Darkseer to disrupt Lycan's farm. So there's a ton of options for Earth Spirit, and it's much easier to play a hero like Earth Spirit when there's 3 different lanes you can pressure, or 2 lanes plus a jungle. If there's only 1 lane you can gank, it's very obvious where Earth Spirit's going to camp the entire early game. But this game, the world is his oyster.
Yeah, he will be starting bottom here, just parked behind Moon, looking to ensure that they get the early roll, and they do. Moving on to Matumba Man. Just a little bit of pressure, but with the double Ion Shell, one now expiring on the creeps, they can really look to shut down the Lycan before he gets scary, and this is those early moments where Lycan doesn't do all that much.
Yeah, Liquid's response is going to be try and use their pull camp to deny XP and also force the creep wave under the tower, because Matumba Man can farm. He's going to be able to farm a lot easier under his tower with his regen and stout shield than he is out in the lane, but the response to this from OG is just to go for a pull camp of their own.
Yeah, we did see briefly, it is just a full Iron Talon Jungle Beastmaster. It's been talked about a lot by the analysts, by many of the players, that we heard it from PPD yesterday on the panel, that they just think Beastmaster is broken right now. And if he's getting free farm in the jungle, I'm not sure anyone does it faster, not even Enigma necessarily. It's ridiculous.
He has been found now by Crit. We talked about how he's got plenty of options as far as where he can rotate to. In some ways, Kuro does act as a buffer towards that mid lane protecting Fata, but if you ever manage to sneak past the Beastmaster and get like a level 2, level 3 spin, or even hit that level 6 timing on Jug, kills onto DK, very possible.
The good news, though, for OG is Miracle having a better start than last game. We saw him a bit slow as far as farm went in that tri lane and the off lane. They eventually somewhat abandoned it, but he is free farming against the Dragon Knight on a hero that scales quite well, is up against a lot of armor, a lot of tanky heroes, so not an easy game to take over with Omni Slash, but if anyone can do it, it's probably Miracle.
Yeah. The result of this, though, is Mind Control's offlane slider will get farm as well as XP out of this lane.
And Notal getting bullied a bit here. He's already used that Time Walk. Mind Control, diving him, Big Daddy, he gets crossed, in comes the Phoenix, and that will be enough to zone him out. Can they get the counter kill? No, Mind Control will walk away, so Big Daddy under the gun early here. He is slightly out farming, but Notal.
He wants to get this CS at his tower, but needs to make sure he can actually salve up, and that was a really nice play by Mind Control. Almost gets that kill until the Phoenix heal comes into play.
Yeah, doesn't know he has the backup, but still, Slardar having a lot of impact early on in this off lane. You compare that to the bottom lane, Lycan 12-3, despite the dual lane aggression with the Darkseer. They are getting some good side pulls for Moon here, but they're not really shutting down the Lycan just yet, Gods.
Yeah, by no means. Moon will be getting farm and levels himself, but not exactly the outcome they were perhaps hoping for out of this lane. And
is there anything they can do to play this one better?
I mean, at this point, you are where you are. This Lycan has his boots up very nice and early, something you often don't see for a free farming Lycan, but against this aggressive dual lane, the boots go a long way. And
it's always the power of the Disruptor. You roll on him, he can just glimpse one of the 2 back, and suddenly you don't have necessarily the kill potential.
Yeah. I think with the level 4 on Lycan already, you're better off trying to pressure the mid lane.
They are trying to chase that Earth Spirit out of the jungle. Crit does get caged again. It's the Disruptor setting things up. Kuro going to work with the axes there, but not able to finish him off. Still with the 4-minute rune coming soon. That's a very low HP support to try and contest.
Fly's backing up. And this is the adaptation from Crit, is that he wanted to rotate mid and get a rolling boulder off. He hits the rolling boulder. There's not just Blade Fury, but also a Sunray and a slow from dive. But unfortunately, Kuro's Beastmaster has just been on point with the Hawk positioning and constantly scouted out these rotations. But Crit has still found himself in a good position.
And they roll in, they move on to Fata. OG looking to strike first here. In game 1, it was a double kill and a first blood for Liquid. In game 2, it's the boys in green that get out to the hotter start.
Yeah. They've done great up until that point, but...
And an instant smoke, Gods. They want to make this 2 in a row.
Yeah, Kuro did stop those earlier rotations mid, but Crit just realizes rather than try and flank from behind the tower, just go from your own T1 tower, and a much harder rotation to get vision of.
And this is the time to do it before the Beastmaster fully comes online. He is up there with the cores as far as CS go, but they're rolling in. Connection on Matumba Man, not yet level 6. OG are going to find themselves another kill. The glimpse back a bit too late. Can they punish Crit on the way out? Tower shot with the Wolves might be enough to finish him as Moon threatens to dive onto Jarex here. These Wolves are bringing Crit down though, and he will end up falling. Now they turn on to Fly. They are very low. Don't see them getting that second kill, but still overall 1 for 1, but the Lycan dying for an Earth Spirit. And OG killing off 2 cores here before the Beastmaster starts moving.
OG's now put themselves in a position where 2 and really all 3 of their lanes are going very well. The Void free farming for the most
Another
part.
roll, another jump. They still don't have that Beastmaster roar. He's very close. They're diving onto Fada. Omni Slash is ready. Fada does get off the Dragon Tail. Miracle tried to back up to prevent this, but he's got the phase boots to chase. Omni comes through, decapitates the Knight.
It was
Off with your helm.
a great turn from Fata to get the stun off before Omni Slash, but
And now
couldn't quite get far enough away
looks like
because
they
of
might
phase.
go top here. No-Tail has the Chrono.
And OG are just moving so well with these 2 supports.
And now they want to try and deal with
bash.
Mind Control. They get the bash. The Chrono comes through. Meet the Sunray Mind Control. Doesn't even need Crit's help. OG have killed all 3 cores. And they're looking for Jarex too. He TP'd in a bit late to the party. No-Tail still beating him down. He needs that bash. Give me a bash, he says. Give me a bash already. Ice Frog, please. There you go.
He's overextended
He
though.
may
There's a
die
roar.
for this though. No-Tail into the trees. The roar actually goes onto Crit, so they're going to settle for a support kill. No-Tail has the time walk out. Should be able to survive just barely at that. But they chase for more. Suddenly Miracle joins the fray. OG with the relentless aggression. They take the fight to Liquid. They look to punish before that big deathfall push begins, but Miracle getting dealt with by the Boar here. He really needs help. No-Tail's also low. The Healing Ward's dealt with Mind Control. Gets the 1 hero crush. The time walk forward. The bash from Big Daddy. Is he going to get a second? Can't quite. Even Moon chasing.
And Miracle has a regen rune. He TP's mid. He might be able to go for this kill. Doesn't have Omni Slash, so probably doesn't have. Yeah, he's going to just go for the farm. Doesn't have the damage.
Still right back to full HP. Free Fountain Trip for him. And even after all that, it's still Liquid within striking distance, and we've yet to see the too much movement from the Beastmaster, just reactionary there to top. They're giving Matumba Man more space now, gods. And despite the pressure bottom, he leads the CS charts, but for now, OG leading with this lineup that scales very well in the late game. They've got to be happy about that.
Liquid's always been about that mid. With a draft like this, it's always about that mid-game push. So an early game where they're a little bit behind in a couple of kills before they've even picked up the Vlads, before they've got Mind Control's blink, they're not going to be overly concerned, but there is that slight sense of worry where OG now have the momentum. They're just executing their rotations incredibly well, and if they can maintain that, Liquid at some point are going to have to find a way to respond. They can't just sit back and expect to reach that mid game without taking more and more casualties if they play completely defensively.
Yeah, at this point, Roar back up, waiting on the Dragon Knight ult, but a successful movement by Liquid probably means a tower down, at least a glyph forced out, and some significant damage done there. So Fada, he's closing in on that. Meanwhile, Nambi slash Miracle, moving on to Mind Control. Can he finish him here? Almost in range. The phase boot's now activated. He gets off the Blade Fury, but he tries to slither away. Ain't gonna happen. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Matumba Man dead as well. OG making all the right moves, bullying Liquid. Just slurping them up.
And the great thing about all these OG kills is it's not like they're 5-man rotations. We saw last game when they fell behind early, it was like 10, 15 minutes in, they 5-man smoke gang top. No, OG are finding these kills with 2 heroes. In that case at mid, the Jug just does it all by himself. Bottom lane, it's only a 3-hero commitment, so they're doing it in a very efficient way where they're not overcommitting, they're still maintaining their farm. 3 heroes with 45 plus CS. It's only the Lycan who's ahead of those 3 OG cores, and they're now in a position where they can follow up these kills with objectives.
Mid lane. On to Miracle, goes for the TP out, the roar.
Oh,
Kuro! A whiff there from him, and it means Miracle gets out, but Matumba Man races in. The quick Icarus dive back and to turn their attention on to the Samurai. Can they bring Miracle down? The Fire Spirit's coming through. Miracle will fall despite the mistake from Kuro. And Liquid still able to transition into a push. Shows you just how good their ability to take objectives really is. But now the roll. Crit, counter-initiated. He's got the ultimate as well. He's going to drop it too. Starting to bring Kuro low. They're going to scatter. Kuro to the north. And it looks like Beastmaster will fall. And meanwhile, Matumba with the wall working against him. Moon, he's got the surge. It's on the like an illusion. It turns into a wolf, but it gets him too!
Mama
OG!
would be proud of that one.
You never ever run from me, says Moon.
Well,
4-11, gods.
that was a great turnaround coming out from OG. They did lose the Void at bottom lane while that was all going on. It looks like a Fata TP from Dragonite. He had that double damage rune, and that's where Liquid, when they get that pick off, they're so dangerous. A Beastmaster and the double damage Dragon form pose a lot of threat to the tower, but with OG responding mid, Fata finds the pick off at bottom.
And that's with a roar and a creep. They still managed to do that much damage to the tower.
And it's also some space for mind control. This is the player who won't be able to really be all too active or get involved until he has a Blink Dagger, so a bit more pressure on Kuro to get involved with Fata's Dragonite and create some space for mind control just to get
Hello, Kuro, says No-Tail. He found not one, but two, and they're working on Kuro. He's going to drop very early in this fight. Mind control gets up the amp, crushes, and runs. Constantly on the defensive. It's a total role reversal from last game.
Really curious what No-Tail's going with the Perseverance pickup. Seeing Miracle.
Playing it
Fury
safe
TP
here.
out.
He knows there's really no way to cancel that with the Beastmaster dead. So he will make it out, but Dragon Knight online again. Do Liquid look to push with this? They bring Matumba Man into the mid lane, so we've seen a lot from this team when they're running heroes like the Lycan, the Death Prophet. They like to take these early crucial towers, especially the tier 1 mid. Well, do OG defend? They don't have a chrono.
I've got the
Doesn't look like
Magnetize,
it.
but they're not going to rotate. They
Insta-smoke. But
were they too close? They were very close to the creep, so the Miracle will pop it in.
he's got the Blade Fury as well. He can easily get out from Jerax here, even if there's a glimpse. Trying to bait the Blade Fury and chase further, but Miracle showing good patience there.
Really heads-up play by Miracle. As soon as I'm pretty sure he sees the smoke, he just positions himself on the high ground to reveal the smoke and then get himself back to safety.
And they're farming elsewhere. OG doing a good job at spreading the map. You can see Crit getting some crucial me time on the bottom lane. No-Tail farming up the woods. Has gone for the early Perseverance.
Yeah,
so is his Battle Fury.
I mean, Battle Fury is really the only item that makes sense, but it's a very greedy approach to take considering you've done so well in the early game. And going Battle Fury against this scary mid-game push of the Lycan Dragonite Beastmaster, to me, is very risky.
Now,
since picking it up, he did get the Ring of Aquila. So he bought the Aquila after the Perseverance. I'm not sure if that means he's thinking about changing his mind or what, but No-Tail does recognize he needs some early game presence.
Now, in good news for OG, they have a little balance here from Miracle, as he is not rushing a Battle Fury of his own. We have seen him do that on the jug sometimes, but it feels like an early Yasha will be the pickup for him. Gets the Band of Elven Skin. And now OG. They will smoke. They will move top after getting a essentially free tier 1. They've got all their ultimates online aside from the Chrono, cooling down soon. Both teams popping scans here.
And recognizing that Liquid's kind of taken over their jungle. This is the very common play to make after getting a tier 1 tower, and they may they don't go back, fully commit to going in their jungle.
Crit might find someone, but he needs the team with him. They're hesitating. Now they're moving top. OG rolling in. They found Jerax, the Static Storm deployed defensively. Looks for the TP out, and he gets the glimpse off on the Phoenix. He'll make it out too. So Jerax dodges a bullet.
Everyone gets out of that one.
Even Matumba Man TPing away. Still nothing too big used there by OG, just a smoke. They don't blow a chrono or anything like that. And they're still the team that's somewhat penned in on their side of the map.
Yeah, and for Liquid, they haven't really hit all their item timings just yet. They yet to get any of the Necro books on either. Well, Beastmaster's got his back at base. Lycan still working on his Necro 1, so for Liquid, you get scary around like the double Necrobook stage. They don't even have to be level 3, level 1, level 2 with Fata, who's very tanky with this armlet now. And then you just kind of 5-minute towers. We saw them take the tier 1 mid without resistance. And then instantly, in the same Dragon form, they got another tier 1 tower up top. So when you can get 2 towers from the one ultimate, you kind of know your opponents are very reliant on some of their ultimates, like the Chronosphere.
OG do have a nice ward here. Actually, 3 off on the Radiant side. But most importantly, that one bottom. Scouted out Kuroki and Fata. Kuroki and Fata showing good map awareness. Do retreat long before that potential gank could materialize. I'll reveal No-Tail in the bottom lane. The rest of the team parked behind him. Liquid seemed content to farm. Lycan off at the Ancients. The rest of the team was in the lanes, now in the jungle. And they are keeping this game stable. As good of a start as it was for OG, it's only a 2,000 gold lead. That's just one good fight and a tower from Liquid, and it will be erased.
And they're just kind of sticking near each other. The Dragonite, who was kind of closer to the lane, still has his 3 teammates nearby. It's only ever going to be Matumba Man, who might be off kind of on his own, getting some farm. He is probably the one who's most kind of late game item dependent for the team. The other 4 ready to fight. May even look for a smoke gank soon, although 2 dire wards have given plenty of vision of this Liquid squad, and Liquid had like a couple sentries expire, and yep, they smoke under a ward.
OG are ready for this. They smoke too. This one not scouted. Liquid heading north, OG sneaking south, creeping in behind them. They are going to forfeit a potential high ground advantage there. I think they're expecting Liquid to be in the pit, gods. Maybe.
They're likely to wrap around towards that pit soon. Miracle will see his smoke not pop and should know what's going on now that Liquid is smoked into their own jungle. So despite seeing the smoke, it doesn't set them up for a team fight victory immediately.
And No Tail, not under cover of smoke. He is visible. That faceless void, and it looks like in the end, a swing and a miss for both teams.
I mean, for Liquid, they had triple sentries in their own jungle, and they just assumed that OG had limited vision in this Radiant jungle, but OG had 2 Observer Wards go unnoticed.
Oh, speaking of unnoticed Observer Wards, now Liquid, they have the vision advantage here. They're moving the Wolf Pack in. Kuroki leading the charge for now. Fada with the Haste Run and the Armlet. Both teams want a clean initiation. Neither finding it, but the vision advantage has to be far on the side of Liquid as far as the heroes go.
And when you have a vision advantage with a Disruptor, it's so scary to play against. That's where OG, even though with this strong team fight, you're looking at Chronosphere with a Darkseer, a Supernova.
Do you get
Spirit.
it off?
Yeah, do you get it off? Is it Liquid getting the jump? If they manage to get a Roar and burst someone down, the mana burn from the Necrobook could mean the Void doesn't even have mana to time walk away, something that Kevin talked about on the panel as well, and that makes it very difficult for OG to play.
There's the roll in, but Jerax is ready for it, dropping the Static Storm here. Not a very good one, and he's going to get caught out. Will be finished off with a Blade Fury for Miracle. Crit may pay in return, though, as he commits a Magnetized Mind Control, bringing him down together with the Wolves. They are chasing Mind Control, but he's rather far away. Matumba Man coming into Wolf form and then says, "Get out of my way, Fada." Get out of there. So they decide to back off. They lose a Disruptor. They trade him for an Earth Spirit. Support for support. But Liquid playing a little scared. Don't want to walk into that team fight.
They've got plenty of setup for the Glimpse using those Lycan Wolves and the Beastmaster Hawk, but OG have just not given Liquid any opportunities to find those pickoffs. And Earth Spirit at best is all they've managed to really get this game, and following that kill, OG themselves go into the pit, soon to be scouted out by a Hawk.
Now, do Liquid walk into that pit? The Lycan ultimate at these early levels has a pretty long cooldown. Still 40 seconds until Matumba Man can engage the Roche well below half HP. If Liquid want to fight this, they do so without the big bad wolf.
Well, they're coming, though.
And they are moving towards the pit. Mind Control out in front. The smoke's going to break. They still hesitate. They don't walk in. They're waiting for the wolf, but it might be too late. No Tail time walks out. He is slowing down the Roshan by not just hitting him.
He's scaring them with the Chrono, though.
But it works.
Unless
and the Aegis goes to Miracle. Now Fada engages onto No Tail, but they don't have the follow-up burst. He's going to get the initiation off onto Fada with the Sunray going. The Armlet's still active. He drops quickly. The Dragon being brought down, but not finished off just yet. They can't kill him, and they Blade Fury spin forward. They will finish him off, and then the egg over the top, zoning Liquid back as the Static Storm again ineffective. Miracle assassinates another. OG finding their stride, almost getting Kuro there. OG and Aegis, 2 kills. And Liquid blew some ults.
Yeah, and it was a great blink crush from Mind Control on the backlines, but the Static Storm out of the Disruptor just wasn't there in time. I'm not sure if it was still on cooldown from the previous fight, but letting the Phoenix get off the Supernova following the crush really secures OG's team fight there. And suddenly No Tail, 2.9k gold, can complete the Battle Fury if he wants to. Still not sure this is really the optimal Void build these days. It used to be like back in like the slow-paced carry meta, you'd see safe lane Voids go Battle Fury, but as far as like a one-position Void these days, you're much better like going for your Diffuse or Mantis, so not sure what is exactly going to be on his mind.
Hard to say. At this point, it does seem like No Tail has changed his mind. He's up to well over the gold required for
Radiance, you know? I'm sure Wag will be happy. He's probably sitting backstage like, come on, No Tail, you can do it. Didn't get the Vanguard, but he's still very tanky even without it.
Ooh, gets the ultimate orb. So it looks like a Lincoln Sphere for the Roar, the Dragon Tail, even the Glimpse potentially.
Lincoln's is great against DK stun, and like you mentioned, the Glimpse as well as often the catch. And the Lincoln's overtime has been received a few small buffs here and there as far as the cost goes, and even the cooldown on the Lincoln's refresh. So an item which is very defensive by nature, but it's amazing against Liquid's lineup.
They know the most important thing here is to get off a good team fight and not to give up the pick. So Liquid don't have that power play. And having the Lincolns is certainly a good way to ensure that.
I mean, now Void has a way to dodge the glimpse. Jug does as well. Does put OG in a fairly safe position to
They're
look for
streaming
kills.
bottom. Jug coming as well. They get the sounds off, and Jarex. Which way does he go? It's Raptor for dinner. Miracle now dominating. Though I have to say, it feels like Crit is the one doing most of the heavy lifting.
OG ready to press forward, I imagine. Fortunately, we'll have to deal with some split push coming out from the Lycan always. There's a Necro 2 on both Kuro as well as Matumba Man.
So we have a kind of a pause, a lull in the action here, Gods. OG are going to look to push bottom, it appears. Liquid probably not going to contest this.
They see Kuro. They may try and jump him here.
He's called out. No-Tail gets the jump. They commit even a Chrono for the 4th position Beastmaster, but with the farm he's got, well worth it if they get the kill. No neutral deny. It goes the way of Fly. So, all right, now we have a moment. So looking forward, 10, 15 minutes down the road, does either team start to pull ahead? Is there a big power spike you're keeping your eyes out for? You mentioned the Necrobolt timing hasn't really materialized for Liquid. Where are these teams looking next?
I mean, Liquid want to use their vision advantage to farm more of the map. Avoid OG's 5-man, split push up top, split push mid when you see this 5-man unit down bottom, and try and use these Necrobooks to slow down the OG push because it has such a high threat of breaching the OG high ground that OG will have to constantly TP back to defend this. For OG, it's all about finding those pickoffs. Using a Chrono on one hero is all about kind of asserting yourself over your opponent, saying, look, you're not going to split push. We're not going to let you play the economy game because that's exactly what Liquid's trying to do. Punish the fact that OG are 5-manning by just all 4 or 5 of their heroes are split apart, farming different locations on the map. You had the Dragon Knight up top, you have the Lycan at the Ancients, you've got Disrupt at bottom, someone else is farming the Radiant Jungle, so even if you lose one kill, you've got 3 or 4 other heroes farming.
And we have seen from Liquid that even from a bigger deficit than this, they can pull out some spectacular team fights. The series versus Newbie yesterday especially comes to mind with just incredible teamwork. And they do have some scouting tools here, not the Riki or the Bounty Hunter type hero, but they've got the Wolves, as well as the Amp Damage, the Hawk. So they have the Vision type heroes you mentioned, to not only create space for farm, but maybe eventually for that big team fight. They are, for now, trying to farm their jungle. OG pushing in the bottom lane. The ward? The D ward just not been used yet. They haven't gotten Vision up the cliff, it looks like.
I see a point booster picked up on No-Tail's Void, and I think he recognizes that the catch against the split push is going to be key. He wants that shorter cooldown.
OG streaming in. It's almost like Liquid want to debate this one. Crit. It's a trap. Static Storm getting dropped. A Miracle says, screw it, man. I'm going in. The Necro Book's there. The Omni Slash committed. He's got to run. Kills off the book, but he does get roared on the way out. Elsewhere, the bubble. No-Tail trying to lock down Matumba Man. Finish him off. The Wolf will fall. OG getting a core kill, but the Jug looks like he might drop. No! The Hilly Ward, the Aegis, enough to keep him alive for now, but eventually the Jug will fall.
Oh, the Aegis expired as they went on him. That burst heal was from the Aegis timing out, and Earth Spirit, like, Crit kept him alive for longer, and it actually kind of bites OG in the ass there because they lose the Aegis because Crit actually saved Miracle for like an extra 5 seconds, and that was so unfortunate.
That was
Jug.
a very interesting bait by Liquid. They saw the ward. They had the Hawk on top of the hill. It was in range of the Sentry. They opted not to kill the ward. As soon as Earth Spirit rolls in, instantly the Static Storm comes out. Miracle dives pretty far with the Omni Slash, and Liquid are able to turn it. They get 2 cores. They do lose the Lycan again, but he's still up there as far as net worth goes.
Yeah, that's a great kill on Miracle's Jug, who's been involved in 8 of these kills. It was 8 and 1 before that. Takes a death now, and he's picked up a Perseverance himself, although I wonder if he's thinking Battle Fury to help push out these lanes fast, deal with all the Necrobooks, the summons.
Double Lincolns feels like a bit defensive for OG,
yeah.
because this does appear to be a farm war.
I think you recognize what Liquid's trying to do and just farm the map, and you kind of do a bit of that yourself. While obviously being involved in kills. Miracle's going to smoke up with his team when, even without an Omni Slash, he can still be very influential.
And No-Tail now grabbing the point booster. So likely going to see that Ags. Has generally been the Void build, and they are going to get eyes here on Fada. He pops the Shadow Blade. He tries to run. They glimpse it back. Do they have detection? You betcha. Can they finish him off, though? That's the question. Moon's there. Karate chops him down, making Moon Meander's mama very proud. Make it 2. And now OG can transition perhaps into a push. Tier 1 can just be backdoored here. Not sure if they get the Tier 2, though.
Could wait for the creep wave. There's not too big of a threat of the split push just yet from Matamba Man, although he will have full access to his jungle and potentially the bottom lane as well to threaten a counter push. But for now, it's crit. Aggressive with a ward here, which does get scattered out being planted, so Liquid should be able to easily de-ward that one.
The Greaves are now picked up by Darkseer, and I think more importantly, you're up against Lycan gods, you are up against a Hawk, they get the gem. So OG not having the best vision heroes on paper, but looking to really atone for that through the items.
Just being able to punish as often as possible. This Chronosphere is going to quickly become less a teamfight tool and more a pick-off tool for OG. They want to use it to start fights. Even if you're just killing one core hero with a Chronosphere, you've still got plenty of teamfight to follow up the Void. If anything, Void needs to start the fight so Darkseer can come in later. Darkseer is not really a good teamfight initiator. He relies on the opponents to have already reacted and grouped up for that vacuum wall to come out. The way that fight at top breaks out is that Moon comes in after the initial fight and then hits that vacuum wall on the backline. So Void throwing an Aghanim's ulti just for one or two heroes in the front lines is more than adequate for OG in their team fight setup.
Big smoke by Liquid. Marching down mid. The Wolves scouting ahead, looking for prey, and they do see a Darkseer. A Wild Moon appears. Aurora is there. Darkseer goes down. Clean execution by Liquid. And now they race forward, even popping the Wolf ult. Let's see where they roam next. I always like to hunt for these additional kills. They move into the pit, hoping, praying that Roshan is up. Their prayers are not answered by Ice Frog.
I wonder if that was a misclick from Matamba or just thought he maybe needed it for the... You see the Darkseer mid, you're expecting it to be backup. So I think it was just like a let's be safe rather than sorry kind of ultimate.
Well, one kill, instant tower down, and that's a pretty big one here. Tier 2 falls mid.
And that's the beauty of Liquid's draft, is that you can be the ones kind of in control, winning the farm war. Not really with map control, but you're the ones who have the strong team fight. But one pick off for Liquid, you take out a key team fight hero, someone like a Darkseer or a Void, and suddenly your ability to breach high ground with the double Necrobooks, Dragonite ulti form is just brutal. And OG, they have to play very flawlessly here. They can't afford to miss a Chronosphere, to have a Darkseer get picked off too often, or suddenly Liquid, one big mistake near your base and you find yourself losing a lane of racks.
Now, and good news for OG, while they don't want to whiff Chronospheres, they have a little more wiggle room. It is now an Aghanim's online. So 1 minute cooldown. Not too much for Liquid to play around with, even if he does whiff one. They'll need to be very decisive in the punish.
There's still, like, to me, some slight concerns around their overall damage output. You look at the Void with Linken's plus Ags. He's not really doing much damage output himself. Needs to transition
that
into
illusion. It got a whiff of OG trying to steal the Roche right under Liquid's eyes. And the Wolves, the fresh pack comes in. This Roche is not dropping quickly enough. They are going to have to fight. Fada moves up to the north under cover of Shadowblade, trying to move his way in, finding that pick. It would be big. A fresh pack emerges. When do they go? OG.
They know flies up here. They could silence him.
Slowly working on it. Liquid want to go in at exactly the right moment. The egg gets dropped very preemptively. Then the Chrono as well. They finish off the Roche. No tail. Trapping mind control in. And they manage to bring him down. And now the wall, the static storm, too late. OG have found the Roche. They've gotten their ages. They've massacred two. They're looking for Fada as well. The team fight execution virtually flawless. 3 down. Fada drops. Can they kill Kuro 2? Make it 4 for 1. And almost a Lycan for dinner.
They just... They
Liquid.
use their ultis like before Liquid were even on them. The egg comes out as DK's trying to initiate in onto the Phoenix. And then you have a Chronosphere. He used Chrono before even the Slardar blinked in. It's almost as if he expected them to be coming. Mind Control kind of blinks into it, and great ultimate usage from OG. They were so cautionary with it, making sure that they don't lose that one decisive Roche fight.
Getting the Aegis here and starting the fight with no Slardar, absolutely massive. He is the source of your sustained lockdown to deal with the Juggernaut, to deal with the Void, continue to get bashes, crits as the fight moves along, and boy, they're just lucky they didn't lose Matamba Man too, but it's a pretty decisive win by OG Gods.
Fly did not mess around with his ulti usage there. That Phoenix Supernova, a lot of players would have tried to hold on, use a Sunray first perhaps, or use the fact that you're on that high ground to wait a bit longer before you throw out the Supernova, but he wanted to make sure that stun was popping around when Roche was dying. So OG pull further ahead off of that, almost a 10,000 gold lead now.
Well, it's easy to anticipate when you're a Time Lord, and that Faceless Void certainly is. So Liquid, 30 minutes in, almost nobody's been able to stop them when they get the Lycan. I mean, a Dragonite and Beastmaster on top of that. normally towers just crumble even if you have a good start. But OG just haven't made a big mistake in any team fight. We haven't seen a whiffed chrono. We haven't seen a whiffed vacuum wall. Occasionally a support will die, but it's been very mistake-free Dota. And 30 minutes in against Jerax's Disruptor, that is a tall order, but his one OG have been up for the challenge.
I mean, Liquid, a lot of their kills came in that early game where they found like they either traded kills in some kind of small skirmishes. They haven't found the key mid-game pickoffs outside of the one on the Darkseer. They kill the Darkseer, they immediately take a tier 2 tower. They need more of that. Unfortunately, every time they've tried to smoke up, OG themselves have kind of been grouped as 5 ready to teamfight, and Liquid haven't exactly got the superior teamfight, assuming OG can get off their big ultis.
So what's next for OG? They have Aegis now. They are still out-farming Liquid as we see a jump top Aurora into Miracle as the Blade Fury TP. Is he going to be able to get it off here? He goes for it, just had the mana. It was close to Kuro, burning it all away. But Miracle able to make it out. And it does show you the power of Beastmaster. Even down that much net worth, can almost solo kill him.
That's a
gonna change though with this Eye of Scotty that's coming.
Yeah, risky place for Miracle to be. This is a nice item, gives him bigger mana pool to help deal with the Necrobooks, but more importantly, HP, armor, stats all across the board can be very useful for a Jug who likely wants to siege high ground. OG with like high ground sieges with Jugs have just been so good. They kind of go in, they time the Blade Fury so they can maximize their damage output, get back to safety. They use the healing ward really well.
And unlike most carries that don't have a BKB, he can just Blade Fury if they try to glimpse him in when he retreats.
I imagine they wanted the Aegis on Miracle. I think Notel having it was purely a reaction to the chaotic fight happening as Roche died, so it was very much a call like, anyone who can pick up the Aegis, just make sure we grab it.
Well, he chronoed his teammates, so he's like, yeah, I'm going to have to take this. Sorry, buddy.
If he waits for the chrono to wear off, then if Mind Control somehow survives the chrono, maybe he gets it. You don't really have a guarantee Miracle's going to be able to pick it up. The base trade scenario, very good response by Liquid. They've got Necrobooks, they push very fast.
I'm not sure if OG can do this, but they did get there significantly ahead.
They're already reacting. The Void's actually up top. If Liquid don't realize he's not pushing bottom, they could get caught out here.
Yeah, there is that glimpse back. It's only a 1 minute chrono, though. The glimpse back comes a Miracle. He has to Blade Fury and then run. Not like they're going to be able to follow up, it appears, though. You can see Matumba Man already rotating.
It was a good call from Notel to kind of rotate back, TP himself home, and look for that catch that Liquid seemed to be wary of it with their positioning, and OG claim a tier 3 tower uncontested. And
Miracle not entirely respecting the Jerax Disruptor, but fortunately could still Blade Fury and just run. They didn't really have anyone to pursue him.
Even without a TP.
But both teams have the catch. Like, you have to be careful when you're going high ground.
Yes. If Beastmaster TP's back, he's got a Blink Dagger. I think ideally Kuro needs to get Boots of Travel up as soon as possible. Probably the kind of most impactful item that he can go following this Blink Necrobook, just because of what it offers in terms of being able to thread into split push, as well as after OG come back to defend the split push, you try and TP back and catch heroes like Miracle in that position. If he has Boots of Travel there, Miracle may have actually been able to be caught out.
You can see the stark contrast between the two 4-position players this game. Kuro, he really took over last game on the Riki, but this game it has been the crit show, involved in well over half of their kills, and most of them coming in those crucial early moments. So with the Aegis now gone, Notel will use that inventory slot to buy a Blink Dagger. Does not opt to complete a Mjolnir or Salkuras. He wants the extra catch. And now he has it.
Yeah, if he has a Blink Dagger up top, that's possible 2-3-man chrono.
Time walks in, blinks on forward. This time it's a connection. It's onto Matumba Man, but 4 heroes are coming in reserve. Fada sweeping right from the side. He's got a DD route. This Dragon's going to hurt unless they can focus him. The Omni Slash very much unable to bring him down. And Miracle now getting stunned. Turned on by Fada. He's still got the armlet active here, but he is fairly low. He's got to toggle this. Notel jumping in. Miracle staying alive through it all. It's the Moon Wall! Now they bring down the Dragon, the Wolf too, and they chase onto Jerax. It's about to be 4. He tries for the TP. No escape from OG. Absolutely slaughtered.
So patient on Moon. He waited out both the Lycan BKB and the Dragon Knight BKB, finds the exact timing at the end of that team fight to hit the vacuum wall. Right as it looked like things were starting to not go too well for OG, suddenly Moon shows up. That Darkseer play catching Liquid completely by surprise. They just didn't get the kills during their BKB durations. Another very defensive Supernova from Fly, but once you have that Supernova by the tower, if Liquid commit for kills with BKBs, they're going to get stunned up. And OG's team fight, again, just shining. It's not just a Chronosphere that matters. It's the Supernova. It's the Vacuum Wall. It's an Earth Spirit who can hit a multiple hero boulder smash. There's just too many team fight spells coming out that Liquid just don't match up.
OG looking to take this game 2, reset the series at 1-1, and guarantee us a 4th game. They've taken 1 lane of Rax, and they get more with smoking almost within their own fountain, really.
OG are already backed off with Chrono ready to go again. Wall up in 10 seconds, although they are a little bit short on mana for Moon.
They hold the line here bottom for now, but it's OG looking to come in, and there's the bubble. It's trouble for Matumba. No real help, no save just yet. The back comes through again. He has to BKB, and he runs. He's morphing into Big Bad Wolf, and he doesn't really want to be big or bad. He's just sitting back, unable to engage in this, fearing the follow-up damage. They focus Fly, though. He doesn't get off the egg. Maybe this is where Liquid make their stand. No-tail dropping pretty fast. He does time walk back, and OG start to scramble the retreat. Liquid pursue. Miracle, though, has a Lincoln Sphere on top. He brings down the Necrobox, and they roll back in. Crit looking to engage. No-tail out fairly far. Fata with the BKB, but he time walks it off. He continues to fight, and they bring down the dragon. They turn back for Kuroki. Well played, Fearing Jets. They might just kill them all here. Disruptor down. Crit surging in. He catches another. Continues to deliver. Silencing him. Controlling him. And killing off his mind. OG unchecked in the team fights. And the crowd is loving it. Second lane of Brax is theirs. The game within their grasp. A desperation buyback. But can they hold? They have no Dragon Knight. They just now get the Slaughter. There's no Wolf Ultimate. There's no ability to take the fight. And it's Big Daddy again with the wall on top. The kick on through from Crit. Mind control. It's about to be a dieback for him. Slaughter down. Death by the Miracle Sword. And on to the Range Rex. Perhaps on to more kills. Matumba Man running for dear life.
It's so nice to play a Void when you don't have to hit 5-man Chronos, because No-Tell, we're seeing his initiation range. He initiates from like 1,500 range away, uses a Time Walk into Blink Dagger just to catch 1 or 2 heroes. He catches a Lycan by itself, but he knows there's no pressure on him to hit more than 1 hero. If he just catches a Lycan, his job is to force a fight, force Liquid to engage on you, and then he knows he's got the backup of Supernova as well as Vacuum Wall to win the team fight, even without that big Chrono. And it means OG just have this kind of unstoppable initiating force in the Faceless Void, and suddenly they get a second lane of Rack, looking to take a third and take game number 2.
Miracle now imbued with the power of a butterfly as well. This is a gigantic juggernaut. He just solo killed a Dragon Knight essentially with the Omni Slash. Basically the only damage hitting him in that last fight, and that was before this fresh tier 4 item comes out. So now all that stands between him and this game win is that Rax. But again, they're going to start with the Chrono. The Static Storm comes out to the side of the bubble. It doesn't matter. Fata's deleted. Liquid just never get to fight with the whole team while the Green Dream persists. And they tap out. They could take no more. Liquid are swept aside here in game number 2. We now have a real series on our hands.
And they even things up with a very impressive draft and just draft execution coming out. The rotations early on mid, pressuring Fata's Dragon Knight. Fatu, who was such a key player in game number 1, didn't get any opportunities to really come online. And Liquid, very reliant on that scary mid-game push, just never got the room to execute it because of how good OG's teamfight was.
So if you had to pick like one thing that Liquid need to change going into game 3, what would it be?
Probably for Liquid, it's going to come down to having just a little bit more early game laning presence. Game 1, it was Kuro active on the Riki. This time around, it was a bit greedier on the Beastmaster. They thought they could get away with it, probably expecting the Void in the offlane. You see a Void Jug, you're not expecting a last pick Darkseer, but it was really a fantastic last pick for OG, giving them more team fight and more laning pressure. So OG had the team fight advantage and the laning advantage.
And such a good game to have the wall. So many R's normally built, heroes that their illusions are incredibly impactful in team fights. Getting the Dragon Knight illusion, the Lycan illusion, it made a big difference here. And with that, we summon Paul and the analysts.
How you doing, LD?
Pretty good, man.
Yeah, it's a pretty good grand final right now.
I'm happy. We get a game 4.
Who do you think, boys down there, who do you think has had the upper hand in the mental game? As we've talked about it between Kuro and Fly, who do you think's got the upper hand so far?
I think it's very even. They're both super resilient, very experienced captains, and it's a tie series. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, you win game 2, maybe you could fly the slight edge because he's coming off a win, but Kuro's been around the block.
All right. We'll carry on enjoying the grand final. We'll come back to you for game 3 very shortly. Thank you very much, gents. Let's check in with our panel members as to what they made of game number 2. We're all squared up, Charlie, 1-1.
Yeah, that game really comes down to the early rotations on crit. If that laning stage doesn't go well for OG, then Liquid gets their levels, they get their items, and then they can play at their own pace. But what you saw instead was OG establishes dominance in the laning phase, Liquid plays on the back foot, and then they have to play to OG's tempo. And OG's tempo is to play around their big team fight ultimates. And, you saw it in those Roche fights. There's no way Liquid contests when OG's ultimates are up.
And that's what won them the game was the Darkseer pick. It changed all their lanes up. They're expecting Void off lane versus Disruptor support. They can deal with that. Mid would have been something against Dragonite. Dragonite's fairly resilient in a 1v1, but not against a hero that can do 500 magic damage with 110 mana on a 30-second cooldown. It just made it so all of their lanes were gankable and facilitated crit to just need one. They just needed the one hero crit to rotate over and guarantee a kill in any lane, so it was hard to predict where he was going to be, and they just kept pounding the laning stage.
Yeah, OG really dictated the pace of the game, especially like we were commenting about crit on that Earth Spirit, but I just love the way that they did their lane setup. The Juggernaut mid, it's a change-up, but it gives that kill potential on the Dragonite. Very tanky hero, isn't susceptible to just physical damage right clicks. Well, you don't need it then. You just spin on him with a rolling boulder, and it ended up being like perfect setups. I really have to commend OG on their early game movements, but not just from crit, but also from fly. They were like that duo in the first, like they show up top lane, both of them are there. They go mid lane, both of them are there. They go bottom lane, both of them are there. It was just beautiful, perfect rotations. Liquid, it's not even like they played poorly in this game, honestly. OG just looked unstoppable.
Yeah, OG did all the right moves, and one of those right moves was actually No-Tail picking up a very unconventional Lincoln Sphere. If he correctly identified that the only way he gets stopped on beating on somebody in a Chronosphere is with Roar. He still has damage because he has a Darkseer Ion Shell on him, and they're so far ahead that he can afford to go something like a Lincoln Sphere and an Agnum Scepter because they still have damage, and the only way they stop him is countered by the Lincolns.
Yeah, going the Agnums was also very smart. Like Gods was saying, like the casters were saying, they have to. Liquid trying to fight into OG's team fight is nearly impossible from the start that they had. And going for Aghanims, it's every 60-second Chronosphere.
Yep, so basically he just Chronos one guy, they Sunray in the back, and he's missing half of his HP, if not more, if there aren't more heroes there. So.
And here we have to give the MVP to crit this game.
MVP crit, Miracle had a great game, 16-2-9 on that Juggernaut, back to where we would expect him to be in the game, but it was crit that enabled that.
Absolutely. Took the words out of my mouth.
The enabler.
The enabler.
It's basically a reverse of game 1, is what that felt like to me.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
It's
Absolutely.
like super stomp, just completely different teams.
That's what you want in these grand finals, though. Both teams playing really well, but the first game, it was just like Liquid making the first moves, looking absolutely perfect. Now OG making all the first moves, looking absolutely perfect. It's like, this is the dream.
Yeah, we'll go through the highlights. Charlie, what does it do for their mentality, though? Because we heard about OG's mentality. They're very strong. They don't mind if they go behind. But if they've gone 2-0 down in the grand final, that's when it starts becoming a problem, right?
That's incredibly worrying. how many times have we seen a team come back from an 0-2 deficit? Very, very rarely. That's, if you can do that, like your mental strength, bow to you. But, we got a 1-1 series here, guys, and I think it really comes down to the laning phase. Like in both games, you see the team that gets out ahead early is the one that controls the pace of the game.
Comes back to drafting, of course, as well, as to what they draft and how they draft. Who do you think has had the upper hand? I asked a similar question to Audi and Gods. Who do you think has had the upper hand so far?
I still want to give it to Liquid. I think, yes, OG won Game 2 and it looked really good for them, but if everything didn't go correctly for them in the early laning phase, then that game gets really hard. Crit and Fly had to do so many things right, their timing had to be absolutely perfect for them to really come out ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned already, Fog, that Darkseer last pick was sort of key to them being able to do what they did in that second game.
Yeah, it just really allowed them to pressure all three lanes in a way. The Earth Spirit could go to any one of them and make the setup for a gank. It was really beautiful to watch, honestly. It was unfortunate for Liquid, but OG just showed their resilience here.
In a lot of ways, the draft was a little bit reminiscent between game 1 and 2. It was always that last pick, changing everything up and being the solution to what they needed. So if both teams can just always identify what they need, it's so hard, especially if it's a random pick. Darkseer's not that random, but it was a little out of nowhere based on their typical offlane in their mid. If they can just pull the perfect hero out last and then play it correctly, it can give them such a big upper hand.
You know what I like too? Liquid has like this things that we've been seeing. I guess you could call the standard at this point at this tournament. They have Lycan, Strength Core, Slardar, Strength Core, Dragon Knight, Strength Core, and then Beastmaster support, but he's also a strength, kind of a Strength Core. OG took a completely different approach this game. They have a Void, who's agility, obviously. Juggernaut, who's agility. They literally have like basically no strength heroes as their actual core heroes.
And we've seen it the other way around from OG as well. I remember back at Epicenter, they just went the whole team. All strength.
All strength.
All 5.
But the important distinction is that all the heroes that they picked have a lot of magic damage. Or pure damage, and that's a solution to high armor heroes, like strength usually are.
Yeah, and this situation right here is just like Charlie was pointing out. Like, Liquid running into OG's team fight is impossible, honestly. Like, because of the way their laning phase started, they have so many levels, they're in the proper position, and they're able to go for that Roshan. They take it down quite quickly without losing much health. Fly in perfect position, just chilling on the high ground. No-tail in great position as well. And yeah, everybody just needs to basically click their ultimate, and Liquid cannot run into it. It's so difficult for them.
Liquid was very worried in a lot of these fights. You could see Fada kind of going in and out. If not everybody on Liquid is on the same page, they're going to lose fights like this. They maybe could have won that with the Roar, but they had to kill Miracle during that duration. And that's just the hard part from being about being behind. You don't feel as confident, especially when you have a hero that's not very good defensively, like Disruptor. Disruptor's looked amazing throughout the tournament, but in this game it looked terrible because if you're getting dived under a tower, Glimpse doesn't really save you. It doesn't save an ally in a lot of cases. Kinetic Field is very hard to get effective use out of it. It was a very difficult game with the heroes Liquid had.
Do you feel that there was a couple of mistakes creeping in as well? Or was that just as a result of the fact that they were behind and they were trying to feel their way back into the team fights?
I feel it's like it's mostly just a result of playing from behind, and something that Fog mentioned. They had 4 strength heroes, but you know what's great against that? Phoenix and Sunray.
Yeah, and they, even though they were playing from behind and they may made a few of the mistakes, I think that's just going to happen when you're getting pressured so hard. Like, OG just looked so commanding in this game. Like, you have to give them so much credit. They played so well, so perfect.
Yeah, I think we'll leave that on a positive note for this particular game and call that one an OG victory. It's 1-1 now, tied up nicely. We mentioned the Illuminati circle earlier on. It's on.
The potential is there.
It is.
You're excited.
Well, I just want to see 5 games. I don't even care about the 3-1 right now. I just want to see
4 games, that's not enough. 4 games ain't enough.
4 is not enough. We want 5.
Pretty likely. I mean, if it's 1-1, where we've basically reset.
Yeah, I mean, this is now a best of 3. Yep. It's a best of 3. Albeit, what's slightly different about this is that we talked about the mini meta within the final, because it is the 5 games that you have to take into account of, okay, what did they draft game 1? What did we pick? What did they get to pick game 2? What did we do game 3? And that continues all the way through.
Yeah, and that comes down to, is Timbersaw the perfect hero? Does Darkseer make our lanes really good? Liquid's going to feel way less comfortable drafting Dragon Knight now that they have to worry about that kind of magic damage roam.
Does OG pick a Meepo game 3 because they can, because it's tied up? Or do they wait until they're behind at 2-1 and then spring it out and then make it 2-2? There's so many things.
You really want that Meepo?
I do. I want to see 1. Just 1.
Add it to 95 heroes picked. Why not, right?
We have maybe 3 games left over. We'll see. Lots of room left for maybe a Meepo, maybe a Huskar. But, you know, you got to keep track of all of these things in your minds. There's so many different counters. The meta is so diverse right now. It's really a test for captains.
Yeah.
Interesting. What are we going to see then, game 3? What do you want to see, Purge?
I think we're going to see a very predictable 3 to 4 heroes, and then right at the end we're going to see something that counters the enemy draft. Like that's the scary part about it. It's actually very reminiscent of the Epicenter finals. It was very similar to this. It was like one team would stomp, then the other team would stomp, then the other team would stomp, and then game 5 was a little bit more decisive. But
best of 5s are pretty much the battle of endurance. It's just like how resilient can you be, and how much can you endure, and what can you learn each game to game about the other team. And like Paul was saying, will we see the new meta coming out between these 2 teams just for this series? And it looks like it's being answered.
Yeah. Anything new, Charlie? Game 3?
Ooh.
Anything diverting away from what we've been doing?
I think you will. We saw it in the last series with Liquid versus Newbie when they pulled out the Drone Medusa. Never seen before from them. I don't think they've even run it that much in practice that much either.
No. I mean, Fly said that they committed to practicing that, or at least practicing the hero in terms of play style, but not in terms of practicing it against anyone else. That was completely out of the blue. Is he got any more tricks up there? I asked this in the lower bracket because we've seen quite a lot of Liquid all the way through the lower bracket. They played more games than anyone else. You kind of get used to what they're going to serve up, and then suddenly from nowhere they bring that out. Have they got another one of those?
I hope so. You know what? At this point, if you're a team that doesn't have tricks up your sleeve, if you're a team that isn't diverse and deep, then you're probably not going to win very many tournaments.
Yeah, do you think that maybe affected Newbie and LGD, that they made these long runs, and not so much Newbie perhaps, but LGD in particular, who had a kind of similar play style to the way they played every round. We kind of knew they were going to be a bit cautious in team fights. We knew they were going to pick fairly similarly all the way through. There was nothing innovative about their drafts, and maybe that hurt them the further they went through.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you go through these matches, and people watch you all the time, and you're going to get figured out. So you do have to change it up. You have to show other teams weapons that they're scared of and that they have to react to.
Give them something I think about.